Trump considers buying Greenland. Ambitious vision. Donald Trump interested to buy Greenland. Donald Trump's interest in purchasing Greenland in 2019 was rooted in a mix of geopolitical, economic, and strategic considerations. Although the idea was initially dismissed as unusual or even outlandish, the proposal was based on several key factors tied to the Arctic's growing geopolitical importance. Here's a detailed breakdown. 1. Strategic location in the Arctic. Military importance. Greenland's location between North America and Europe has long made it a strategic asset. The island is home to Thule Air Base, a U.S. military installation vital for missile detection and early warning systems. Arctic rivalries. As climate change melts Arctic ice, previously inaccessible regions are opening for shipping, resource exploration, and military activity. Major powers, including the U.S., Russia, and China, are vying for influence in the Arctic, and Greenland offers a strategic foothold. NATO considerations. Greenland is critical to NATO's Arctic strategy. By owning Greenland, the U.S. could solidify its influence in the region, countering Russian and Chinese advances. 2. Natural resources. Mineral wealth. Greenland is believed to hold vast reserves of critical minerals, including rare earth elements, which are essential for advanced technologies like batteries, semiconductors, and military equipment. With China dominating the rare earth market, control over Greenland's resources would reduce U.S. dependency on Chinese supply chains. Oil and gas potential. Studies suggest significant untapped oil and natural gas reserves beneath Greenland's seabed. As global energy demands grow, these resources could become highly valuable. 3. Climate change and new trade routes. Melting ice. As Arctic ice melts due to climate change, new sea routes like the Northwest Passage and Northern Sea Route are becoming viable. Greenland's position makes it a critical waypoint for these routes, which could rival traditional shipping lanes like the Suez Canal. Economic opportunities. With improved access to Greenland's coasts, economic activities such as fishing, tourism, and resource extraction could grow significantly, making the island a potential economic hub. 4. Preventing Chinese influence. Chinese investments in Greenland. China has shown interest in Greenland through infrastructure projects, mining deals, and scientific research stations. Beijing's growing influence in the Arctic has raised alarms in Washington. Acquiring Greenland would prevent China from gaining a strategic foothold in the region. Geopolitical rivalry. The U.S. views Greenland as critical to counterbalancing China's Polar Silk Road initiative, part of its Belt and Road strategy to expand influence in the Arctic. 5. Historical precedents. U.S. interest in Greenland. This was not the first time the U.S. expressed interest in Greenland. In 1946, President Harry Truman offered Denmark $100 million in gold for the island, citing its strategic importance during the early Cold War. Monroe Doctrine. The U.S. has historically sought to limit European influence in the Americas, and owning Greenland would align with this doctrine by consolidating U.S. dominance in the Western Hemisphere. 6. Domestic political factors. Boosting Trump's legacy. Acquiring Greenland would have been a historic geopolitical achievement, akin to the Louisiana Purchase or the purchase of Alaska. Trump likely viewed it as an opportunity to leave a lasting mark on U.S. history. Economic vision. Trump's administration prioritized American energy independence and economic dominance. Greenland's resources fit into this vision, offering long-term economic benefits. Danish and Greenlandic reactions. Denmark's rejection. Denmark, which governs Greenland as an autonomous territory, firmly rejected Trump's proposal. The Danish Prime Minister called the idea absurd, leading to a brief diplomatic spat. Greenland's autonomy. Greenland's government, which handles most of its domestic affairs, expressed no interest in being bought by another country. Greenlanders are increasingly focused on their own independence rather than shifting from Danish to U.S. control. Broader implications. 1. Arctic geopolitics. The episode highlighted the Arctic's growing importance in global affairs. It brought attention to the need for international cooperation to manage the region's resources and address security concerns. 2. Environmental concerns. Increased activity in Greenland, whether by the U.S., China, or other powers, raises concerns about the environmental impact on a fragile Arctic ecosystem. Conclusion. Donald Trump's interest in Greenland was driven by a combination of strategic, economic, and geopolitical factors. While the idea was widely ridiculed, it underscored the Arctic's growing importance in global politics. As climate change reshapes the region, Greenland will likely remain a focal point for superpower competition in the 21st century. Greenland's military interest. Greenland's military importance stems from its strategic location in the Arctic and its potential role in global security dynamics. Here's an in-depth look at the military interests associated with Greenland. 1. Strategic Arctic location. Geopolitical crossroads. Greenland is situated between North America, Europe, and the Arctic, making it a key strategic location for monitoring and controlling transatlantic and Arctic regions. Gateway to the Arctic Ocean. As Arctic ice melts, the region is becoming more accessible for military and economic activity. Greenland provides a critical base for operations in this increasingly contested area. 2. Thule Air Base. Key U.S. military installation. Located in northern Greenland, Thule Air Base is the U.S. military's northernmost base. It was established during World War II and became a critical part of the U.S. defense network during the Cold War. Missile Warning System. Thule houses a large radar system that is part of the U.S. Ballistic Missile Early Warning System (BMEWS). This system is vital for detecting potential missile threats from Russia or other adversaries. Space Surveillance. The base also supports the U.S. Space Surveillance Network, tracking objects in orbit and ensuring space domain awareness, which is increasingly important as space becomes a domain of military competition. 3. Arctic militarization. Russian activities. Russia has been ramping up its Arctic presence, reopening Soviet-era bases and deploying advanced weapon systems like the S-400 air defense system. Greenland's proximity to Russia makes it a critical location for countering Russian influence in the region. China's Arctic ambitions. While not an Arctic nation, China has declared itself a near-Arctic state, and has shown interest in Greenland through investments and scientific research. Militarily, China could use such influence to project power in the Arctic, challenging U.S. dominance. 4. Missile defense and early warning. Defense against ICBMs. Greenland's location makes it ideal for detecting and intercepting intercontinental ballistic missiles (ICBMs) that might be launched over the Arctic. This is crucial in the context of potential threats from Russia, China, or North Korea. Arctic missile routes. The shortest route for missiles traveling between North America and Eurasia is over the Arctic. Greenland serves as a key node in defending against such threats. 5. Maritime and air control. Control of Arctic shipping lanes. As the Arctic ice melts, new shipping routes are opening, such as the Northwest Passage and the Northern Sea Route. These routes are strategically important for global trade and military logistics, and Greenland could serve as a hub for monitoring and protecting them. Air superiority. Greenland's location allows for air patrols over a vast portion of the Arctic, providing early detection of adversary aircraft or maritime activity. 6. NATO and allied operations. NATO integration. Greenland plays a significant role in NATO's Arctic strategy. Its location is essential for defending North America and Europe under the NATO framework. Coordination with allies. U.S. military assets in Greenland work closely with Canadian, Danish, and other NATO forces to ensure the security of the North Atlantic region. 7. Emerging threats. Submarine warfare. The Arctic is becoming a critical area for submarine activity, especially with Russia's deployment of nuclear-powered submarines. Greenland offers a strategic vantage point for tracking and countering submarine operations. Cybersecurity concerns. Thule Air Base and other Arctic facilities are increasingly targets for cyberattacks. Greenland's strategic military assets must be protected from adversary attempts to disrupt critical systems. 8. Climate change and defense challenges. Melting ice impact. Climate change is reshaping the Arctic, making it more accessible for military and economic activities. This increases the risk of conflicts over resources, territorial claims, and shipping routes. Infrastructure needs. To maintain a military presence, investments in infrastructure, such as ports and airstrips, will be essential as conditions in the Arctic evolve. Greenland's military significance. 9. Greenland in Arctic geopolitical competition. Russia's growing Arctic militarization. Russia has significantly ramped up its Arctic military infrastructure, reopening Cold War-era bases and establishing new ones. The Arctic is critical for Russia's defense, especially its northern fleet, which includes a large portion of its nuclear submarines. Greenland's strategic position would help the U.S. monitor Russian activities, including submarine and surface naval operations, strategic bomber flights over the Arctic, missile launches from Arctic installations like Russia's bastion defense strategy. China's strategic intentions in the Arctic. Although not a traditional Arctic nation, China has labeled itself a near-Arctic state and is investing in Arctic infrastructure and research. Greenland has been a key target for Chinese investments, including proposals for airports and mining projects. A militarized Greenland would allow the U.S. to block Chinese attempts to secure a foothold in the Arctic, countering its long-term ambitions in the Polar Silk Road project. 10. Control of Arctic resources. Military-industrial connections. Greenland's untapped reserves of rare earth minerals used in advanced weapons systems, including missile guidance, radar, and satellites, could be pivotal for the U.S. military-industrial complex. Securing these resources could also prevent adversaries, especially China, from gaining a technological advantage. Energy security. Access to oil and natural gas deposits in Greenland's waters has potential military implications. Energy security is often tied to military strategy, and controlling Arctic reserves ensures strategic advantage over resource-hungry nations like Russia and China. 11. Thule Air Base's advanced capabilities. Integrated Missile Defense Network. Thule Air Base plays a crucial role in U.S. defense strategy, particularly the Ground-Based Midcourse Defense (GMD) system. This system intercepts long-range ballistic missiles, which are likely to pass over the Arctic if launched from Russia, China, or North Korea. Without Greenland's early warning systems, the U.S. would have reduced reaction time to such threats. Space operations. Thule is home to Space Force units that track satellites, debris, and potential hostile objects in orbit. This is critical as space becomes a militarized domain, with countries like China and Russia developing anti-satellite weapons. Greenland ensures American dominance in Arctic space operations. Arctic surveillance. The base supports constant monitoring of the Arctic region using advanced radar and satellite technologies. This is vital for detecting both traditional military threats, such as bombers and submarines, and unconventional threats like illegal fishing, smuggling, or unauthorized exploration. 12. Emerging Arctic threats. Climate change and strategic vulnerabilities. The Arctic is warming faster than the global average, creating new vulnerabilities. Rapid ice melt opens new shipping routes that require monitoring and protection, increasing the risk of confrontations. Territorial disputes. Countries, including Russia and Canada, are expanding their claims in the Arctic. Militarizing Greenland allows the U.S. to counter these claims. Increased competition for Arctic dominance. The Arctic is becoming an arena for power projection, with rising risks of skirmishes over sovereignty and resource claims. Nuclear deterrence and submarine activity. The Arctic is a major route for nuclear-armed submarines, especially from Russia's northern fleet, which regularly patrols Arctic waters. Greenland provides a vantage point for monitoring and intercepting these submarines. 13. NATO's Arctic strategy. Greenland's role in NATO defense. Greenland is an essential part of NATO's Arctic defense strategy, protecting the North Atlantic against potential incursions from Russia. The island is a key location for securing the Greenland-Iceland-United Kingdom (GIUK) gap, a choke point crucial for controlling access to the North Atlantic. Supporting NATO's deterrence efforts in Northern Europe and the Arctic. Arctic Alliance operations. NATO allies such as Canada, the UK, and Norway rely on Greenland's strategic location for Arctic training exercises, military air patrols, and submarine tracking. 14. Countering hybrid and cyber threats. Cybersecurity concerns. Greenland's military installations, including Thule Air Base, are targets for cyberattacks by adversaries like Russia and China. Securing these assets is critical for maintaining Arctic defense systems and protecting sensitive radar and satellite operations. Hybrid warfare in the Arctic. Hybrid threats, such as disinformation campaigns, economic coercion, and covert operations, are becoming increasingly common in the Arctic. A stronger U.S. military presence in Greenland could counteract these threats by ensuring surveillance and rapid response capabilities. 15. Potential for new military installations. Future Arctic bases. Given Greenland's location, it is a prime candidate for additional military bases or installations to support Arctic operations. These could include airfields for long-range bombers and surveillance aircraft, naval ports for icebreaker ships and submarines, radar and communication systems to enhance Arctic domain awareness, increased U.S. presence. If the U.S. owned Greenland, it would have greater freedom to expand its military infrastructure to counteract Russian and Chinese activities, solidifying American dominance in the Arctic. 16. Climate-driven military infrastructure needs. Arctic adaptation. As Arctic ice continues to melt, traditional Arctic operations will require updated infrastructure, including bases that can operate in thawed permafrost. Greenland could serve as a testing ground for these new military adaptations. Search and rescue capabilities. With increased Arctic shipping and exploration, Greenland would become a hub for search and rescue missions, which are likely to have military involvement given the harsh conditions. 17. Global power projection. Arctic superpower race. By militarizing Greenland, the U.S. would strengthen its position as a dominant Arctic power, countering Russia's Arctic dominance and China's growing influence. Control over Greenland would allow the U.S. to project power globally from a strategically advantageous position. Strategic deterrence. The presence of U.S. military assets in Greenland serves as a deterrent to potential aggressors, signaling America's commitment to defending its interests in the Arctic and beyond. Conclusion. Greenland's military importance is immense due to its location, its role in missile defense and early warning systems, and its ability to counter Arctic militarization by Russia and China. As the Arctic becomes a hotbed of geopolitical competition, Greenland will play a pivotal role in shaping the global balance of power. For the U.S., securing Greenland is not just about economic or territorial expansion, it's a move to protect its military dominance in one of the most strategically vital regions of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd love for you to join our growing community. If you enjoy our content, please hit the subscribe button to stay connected with us. It's a small gesture that makes a big difference and ensures you never miss our latest videos. Also, don't forget to click the bell icon for instant updates whenever we upload something new. Your support inspires us to keep creating content that you'll love. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to having you on this journey. Keep watching and stay tuned.